What's up, exiles? Today I'm bringing you a Lightning Arrow and Mortar Cannon Ranger Deadeye build. This build melts packs and feels incredible, powerful and smooth to play. If you love fast-paced range combat with satisfying chain lightning effects, this build is for you. Let's dive in. This is a level 70 Lightning Arrow and Mortar Cannon Deadeye. Focus on physical, elemental damage and projectile mechanics. The core concept revolves around Lightning Arrow as our main skill, enhanced by Herald of Thunder for additional lightning damage and chaining effects. I am sitting on a solid defensive numbers with 1900 life, good resistances across the board and 48% evade chance to keep me alive while I kite enemies. Right now let's talk about my character statistics. This is a level 70 Deadeye. My strength is 66, dexterity 222, intelligence 73. I have 1854 life, energy shield 28, mana 626, my spirit is 193 points. My chance to evade attacks is 48%. Right now my resistances, my fire resistance 46%, my lightning resistance 48%, cold resistance 50% and my chaos resistance 45%. And a new defensive layer called deflection. This defensive layer gives us a chance to deflect damage from hits. My deflection rating 1672, my chance to deflect 28%, damage prevented by deflection 40%. Now I'm gonna show you my skills. Lightning Arrow is my main skill. It's a projectile attack that deals lightning damage and can chain between enemies. I'm supporting Lightning Arrow with Elemental Armament 2 for extra elemental damage, also with Rapid Attacks 2 to boost my attack speed. Next, Charge Shots 2 for more damage per shot, and with the last support called Lightning Attunement for consistent damage scaling. Lightning Rod is my secondary lightning skill, supported by Deliberation for strategic placement, Magnified Area 1 to cover more ground, plus Lightning Attunement and Elemental Armament 2 for consistent damage scaling. My next skill is where the magic happens, is Herald of Thunder. It's supported by Concentrated Area for focused damage, Elemental Armament 2, Lightning Attunement and Electrocute for pure elemental damage and electrocution build-up. This creates incredible lightning chain reactions across the old screen. My next skill is a defensive skill, Wind Dancer. I'm supporting it with Precision 1 for accuracy and Pin 2 with Blind 2 for crowd control. Next skill, Combat Frenzy. Combat Frenzy is my damage amplification. Combat Frenzy, while it's active, grants me a frenzy charge when I freeze electrocute on pin an enemy. Supported by Clarity for extra mana regeneration, Vitality 2, regenerate 2% of maximum life per second, and last one, Cannibalism. Thanks to this skill I can recover 3% of maximum life on kill. And right now, here is where this build gets really interesting. I'm running a crossbow weapon swap for different situations. On my crossbow I have Glacial Bolt with Nimble Reload for faster casting, Elemental Armament 2 for consistent damage scaling, and Cold Attunement for cold damage optimization. This gives me completely different damage type for enemies that might resist lightning. And the last skill, Mortar Cannon. Mortar Cannon is my area denial tool, supported by Voltaic Grenade for electric explosions, Multi-Shot 1 to cover more area, Urgent Totems 3 for faster deployment, and Elemental Armament 2 again for that elemental damage boost. And this weapon swap setup between bow and crossbow makes my build incredible versatile. Lightning bow for fast clear and chain damage, crossbow for different damage type and area control. Let's talk about my items. Twin bow is my main weapon, provides solid damage and supports my projectile skills. In sockets I placed runes giving me increased physical damage, implicit on the bow saying bow attacks fire an additional arrow, other affixes on the bow, increased physical damage, flat physical damage, accuracy rating, +1 to level of all projectile skills, and increased attack speed. My helmet, in socket I placed rune with lightning resistance, other affixes, increase evasion rating, maximum life, maximum mana, extra points to intelligence, extra percent to lightning resistance and chaos resistance. My body armor, in sockets I placed runes with cold resistance, affixes on my body armor, evasion rating, extra points to spirit, additional percents to my fire resistance, stun threshold, reduced poison duration, and increased evasion rating and maximum life. My gloves, thanks to runes, extra cold resistance, accuracy rating, maximum life, extra lightning resistance, chaos resistance. I gain 3 points of life per enemy hit with attacks and increased evasion rating plus maximum life. My boots, in socket I place rune with a cold resistance. I have 25% increased movement speed, 60 points maximum life, extra maximum mana, extra points to dexterity, also additional percent to cold resistance and lightning resistance. My quiver, prime quiver, implicit giving me increased attack speed, other affixes, flat physical damage to attacks, increased damage with bow skills, accuracy rating, +2 to level of all projectile skills, extra points to dexterity, and I get life per enemy killed. My belt, I have 2 charm slots on the belt. This belt giving me extra points to maximum life, to maximum mana, increased flask mana recovery rate, and adding percent to my fire and cold resistance. Now my amulet, I anointed my amulet with serrated edges, giving me increased critical hit chance for attacks and increased attack damage against rare and unique enemies. Implicit giving me extra points to dexterity, other affixes, increased evasion rating, increased maximum life, extra points to spirit, also increased critical hit chance, extra points to strength and intelligence. My left ring, implicit, extra percent to chaos resistance, increased lightning damage, accuracy rating, maximum life, increased cast speed. I'm not using this affix, extra percent to fire resistance, also leech 5.25% of physical attack damage as life. my right ring, implicit giving me extra percent to chaos resistance, accuracy rating, maximum life, extra points to intelligence, fire resistance, and I get 6 points of mana per enemy killed. My first flask is a life flask. I have 2 affixes on this flask which say I gain 0.15 charges per second and 58% increase recovery rate. My mana flask, I gain 0.2 charges per second and 46% increase recovery rate. I'm using 3 charms. First one grants me immunity to poison, next one extra cold resistance, and the last charm, it is a unique charm giving me extra fire resistance. My secondary weapon is a crossbow. Affixes on this crossbow increase physical damage, flat physical damage, accuracy rating, extra points to strength, dexterity, and +4 to level of all projectile skills. Right now my passive skill tree, I picked Deadeye for my ranger as my ascendancy. So far I get 4 ascendancy points and I allocate them to point blank and endless munitions, giving me opportunity that my skills fire an additional projectile. And this is my passive skill tree for my 70 level Deadeye Ranger. So I start from the point giving me increased projectile damage, also increased projectile damage, and more projectile damage, plus more projectile damage. Then Hound Instincts giving me increased projectile speed, attack speed, and extra point to dexterity. Next I choose increased projectile damage, clean shot giving me chance to pierce an enemy, and increased projectile damage. Next, projectile damage, extra points to strength, and more strength. Then I follow up and I allocate my points to quiver effect, increase bonuses gained from equipped quiver. Also extra 6% increase bonuses gained from equipped quiver, and last one, master fletching, 20% increase bonuses gained from equipped quiver. Then I went down and allocate passive skill point, giving me increased attack damage. Next one, the same, increased attack damage, increase elemental damage with attacks, also 12% increase elemental damage with attacks, and primal sundering damage penetrates 12% elemental resistances and 8% increased area of effect for attacks. Then next point, for more strength I follow up for elemental damage and shock chance. This passive skill giving me increased chance to shock and increase elemental damage. The next one the same, and next finally harness the elements, 20% increased damage for each type of elemental element on enemy. Then unallocated my points into increased evasion rating, 3% increased movement speed and increased evasion rating, and increased evasion rating. I follow up with extra points to dexterity, more strength, and then quiver effect, increase bonuses gained from equipped quiver, the same, and finally wrapped quiver, 20% increase bonuses gained from equipped quiver. Then I choose increase attack speed and dexterity, the same and the same. Last one, Falcon technique, 1% increase attack speed per 25 dexterity. Then from this point I went right, picking up more dexterity, extra dexterity, and increase evasion rating, and chance reflexes giving me increased evasion rating. Also I gain deflection rating equal to 5% of my evasion rating and 8% increased dexterity. Also I allocated my points in bestial skin, 100% increased evasion rating from my equipped body armor. Next is a jewel socket. I have emerald, giving me increased lightning damage, elemental damage, increased life recovery from flask, and increased poison duration. I'm not using this affix. Next, more strength, more elemental attack damage, catalysis, 20 increased elemental damage with attacks, and 5% of physical damage from hits taken as damage of a random element. Also, increase elemental damage with attacks, more dexterity, and damage against elements. This passive skill giving me 12% increased damage with hits against enemies affected by elemental elements. This one is the same. And finally, exploit, 25% increased damage with hits against enemies affected by elemental elements. Also 15% increased duration of, in my case, shock and chill on enemies. Then more dexterity, increase attack damage, increase movement speed and attack damage. Finally, maiming strike. I have increased attack damage and attacks have 50% chance to maim on hit. My enemies are slowed by 30% and they have less evasion rating. Next, I allocated my points to more dexterity, more evasion rating, deflection. This is a new type of the defensive layer in this league. It's called deflection. I gain deflection rating equal to 6% of my evasion rating. The same deflection passive skill tree. And finally, the wildcard. I gain deflection rating equal to 10% of evasion rating. Also 40% increase evasion rating while moving, and extra points to dexterity. And next I move down, extra points to dexterity, increased skill speed, and acceleration giving me increased movement speed and skill speed. I allocated my points in dexterity until the next jewel socket. I placed emerald giving me plus 1% to maximum lightning resistance, increased damage with bows, increased pin build-up, and damage penetrates 9% lightning resistance. Next, I follow up picking up dexterity, bow damage. I have increased damage with bows, increase attack speed with bows, also attack speed with bows, And finally, pierce the heart, arrows pierce an additional target. I pick also 2 north points, giving me increased damage with bows. Increases and reductions to projectile speed also apply to damage with bows. Follow up, picking up dexterity, herald damage, increased damage while affected by a herald. In my case it's a herald of thunder. Herald damage and coming calamity. 40% increased lightning damage while affected by herald of thunder. Follow up, picking up dexterity, more dexterity, and frenzy charge duration. 20% increase frenzy charge duration, the same frenzy charge duration, and 20% increase frenzy charge duration. Finally, fervor +2 to maximum frenzy charges. And the last point for my level 70 Deadeye build is Javel Socket. I placed Emerald, giving me increased damage with bows, increased elemental damage, increased charm charges gained, and mark skills have 24% increased skill effect duration. I'm not using right now the last affix. And the last time I'm gonna show you my skill passive tree. And I just want you to remember that this is 70 level Ranger Deadeye build. I've just finished campaign and interludes, and right now I'm about to start mapping. Right now let's talk about pros and cons of this build. Let's talk about the pros right now. Incredible build versatility with bow, crossbow weapon swap, excellent clear speed with lightning arrow chains and herald procs, dual damage types, lightning plus cold, handle resistant enemies, very smooth gameplay with great mobility from Wind Dancer. I can say that this build is league start friendly. It works with basic rare gear. And the last pros that I can think of is multiple playstyles in one build, fast bow combat or tactical crossbow. Cons of this build requires weapon swap management, have multiple skill rotation to master. My life pool needs investment for highest tier content, like for example maps T15 or T16. And the last cons that I think of, I need better mana management with multiple auras and skills. And that's my Lightning Arrow Crossbow Hybrid Deadeye Ranger build. This build perfectly showcases the weapon swap system in PoE 2. You get the speed and chains of Lightning Arrow for clear, plus the tactical options of crossbow skills for different situations. In my opinion, it's incredible fun to play and very LEGO start friendly. If you enjoyed this dual weapon build guide, smash that like button and subscribe for more Path of Exile 2 content. Drop a comment below if you tried this build. I'd especially love to hear what crossbow skills you experiment with. Also, let me know what builds you are like to see next. The Path of Building link is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one, Exiles.
Too weak, too slow.